The tongue and the larynx are greatly connected. Not only that, but the vowel shapes can make or break your vocal production. So how do you get rid of tension, and how do you sing with a neutral tongue? Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm a singer, songwriter, voice teacher, conductor, you name it. And today we're going to talk about how to sing without jaw tension. Let's start with what a neutral tongue is like. According to the anatomy of the voice, the tongue lies at the floor of the mouth, and the hyoglossus and genioglossus muscles attach it to the thyroid bone. In singing, the throat functions best when it is open. This means, among other things, that the tongue must remain fairly low in the mouth with the tip touching the lower teeth. The tongue lowest in front, the jaw open and relaxed. In brief, the tongue should never be swallowed in the back, but it should also not be too high and forward that it's obstructing the resonance either. For example, an NG sound. So how do you know that you are singing with a relaxed tongue? 1. There shouldn't feel like there is an obstruction when you sing. That could be as simple as literal obstruction in your mouth, or it feels just like there's an obstruction in your larynx. Those are all considered to be symptoms of tongue tension. Your tongue may feel fat. That's a really great way to know if you're singing without tongue tension. Your tongue might feel really fat and that it's getting in the way of your words. Totally normal and actually encouraged. Another thing is that you might get a tongue hiss. I can't really represent it or recreate it without going into my full voice and warming up, which I haven't done yet. So some of you who maybe have tried singing before have gotten a tongue hiss before. And this is also a really good example that your tongue is pretty relaxed while you're singing. Okay, so now let's say that your tongue is tense. How do you get rid of it? First thing, check in with your breath support. A lot of the times our tongue will become tight because we are not supporting our breath well enough. It's basically trying to do the heavy lifting that all of the breath support is supposed to be doing while you're singing. 2, do tongue stretches, which we'll do some later on. But this is a really great way to kind of help loosen up the tongue if you just have chronic tongue tension. Tongue massages. So I'm not actually saying that you should go into your mouth and massage your tongue, but the base of your tongue, like I said before, it attaches below, right underneath here. So kind of just like massaging the base of the tongue is a really great way to loosen it up. And finally, tongue flex exercises. This is going to be either voiced or unvoiced warm-ups that include movement of the tongue and encourage relaxation. So let's move over to the piano and work on some of these. First things first, let's do some tongue stretches. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you are going to stick your tongue all the way out of your mouth and try and reach for your chin. Okay, we'll do that. We'll hold that for 10 seconds. Already feeling it? Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw circles around our mouth like we're licking our lips. And we're going to do that for, we'll do 10 turns around the mouth. Good. Let's reverse. You might feel some tension here. That's totally normal, right? We're stretching our tongue, so you're gonna feel some soreness. Then we're gonna take our tongue, we're gonna move to each corner of the mouth. We'll do that 10 times. Wonderful. Okay. This next thing we're going to do, you're going to need a straw for. It can be any straw or even a pencil, just make sure it's clean. Okay, you're going to take a straw, you're going to put it underneath your tongue, and you're going to tuck the tip of your tongue behind your teeth, and you're going to hold that straw there for 10 seconds. And that is how we can stretch out our tongue. The next thing that we can do is, like I said before, is massage our tongue. And I don't mean that we go in with our fingers and like manually massage our tongue there, but the base of our tongue is underneath our chin. And Have you ever seen that picture of Katy Perry making the frog throat? That's her tongue. So if you take your thumb, you can take your thumb and just put right underneath your chin. You can push on the base of the tongue. You might feel some tenderness, that's normal. Okay, just give it some tender love and care. Now the next thing that we should look into are tongue flex exercises. So these are all exercises that are either voiced or unvoiced. I typically do them voiced. And they're a great way to both warm up the voice and just kind of make sure that the tongue is relaxed. So the most important thing is making sure that our tongue position is correct. And I mentioned it at the beginning, but I'm going to go into specifics about how I like to place my tongue. And this is coming from someone who's suffered from a ton of tongue tension and a ton of jaw tension, and I feel like this is the best position for my tongue so that it doesn't get in the way of the voice. So you're going to take the tip of your tongue and you're going to place it behind the bottom teeth, okay, like mentioned before. The other most important thing that you might need a mirror for if you've never done this before is taking the razors of our tongue, so the side of our tongue, and we're going to place it on our back top molars, okay? So is with our tongue, tip of our tongue touching our teeth, and then the razors are touching the top of our molars here. I'm going to get a little closer so you can see a little bit better. If you don't like looking at people's mouths, then maybe skip this and just kind of explore it on your own. Otherwise, I'll give you a wonderful example. So here I am, nice and close, right? So the tip of our tongue is going to be touching our teeth. Bottom teeth, right? Okay, the next thing is that we have to take the sides of the tongues and put them up, touching the back molars, top back molars, okay? All right, and that's kind of the best tongue position that you could ask for, especially if you suffer from really, really bad tongue tension. So let's play around with that tongue position with these tongue flex exercises. We're gonna do trying to keep the razors of our tongues right up here, right? The most important thing is that we are not using our chin to pronounce that Y. It's all the tongue. So we don't want to go right? We want to go can we try that? Ready and You might feel like your tongue wants to tap out halfway through that exercise, and that's okay. Take these exercises at whatever pace feels the most comfortable for you. The most important thing is that we're just trying to loosen the tongue. So if you feel like no matter what, you're like after a couple rounds, your tongue just wants to go back into the position, then just start out doing those couple rounds and then move on. But if you want to push yourself like I do, see if you can keep it there. So the next most important thing is trying to make sure that we can make all of the vowel shapes with our tongue while maintaining that those sides of our tongues, the razors of our tongue, is touching the top teeth, okay? So we're gonna go you're gonna try and keep your tongue there as much as you can. Don't let it drop, okay? And it might sound like a little bit like your tongue is fat, and that's okay for now. This is a purely technical exercise. Okay? Next exercise I actually did in my jaw tension exercise. I've mentioned before that the tongue and the jaw are pretty interconnected, so it's important to also make sure that we're loosening the jaw as well as the tongue. So we're gonna do making sure that the jaw doesn't move and only the tip of the tongue is making all of those voice consonants. I'll do it with you. Ready, and a pretty tricky one. It sometimes helps to keep your hands on your jaw to make sure that we're not using it as much as we can. That's it for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a comment down below with any questions that you may have. Until then, I'll see you next time.